With the level of refugees that you made with the displacements, how will that be possible?
Well, for a country like ours, we really need the election because election sets the base for leadership. It sets the leadership, it sets the measures for accountability and makes both the citizens and the government accountable. And such an exercise is very necessary for any country. So staying and you young people now growing without knowing how people get into a government is not right. So therefore, we as a church, as a conference, we really want election to happen. But of course, the government in place, and we don't seem to see it very serious because so many things are missing. As we have mentioned, that so many refugees, so many IDPs, these people are not able to come in and participate. And there are also many requirements to have a peaceful, credible elections. Among them, security and all the constitutional measures that are needed and all the structure that are needed and the resources needed for the election. Psychologically also, people need to feel good that they are going into a peaceful exercise, which is mandatory for any citizen. So therefore, these things are not as we really expect them to be, and we are concerned and we are disappointed. We really feel that the government must work on this and help people to vote, to choose the leaders they want.
You talk about peace, peaceful election, and credible election. What requirement do we need to achieve a peaceful and credible election in South Sudan?
The requirement is nationalism. I mean, the will, if you have a political will, you need a country that should be peaceful. Therefore, for it to be that peaceful, you need those things that must not be there to strengthen the stability of the country. One, the security of this country. Not everybody should be holding guns. The way we are, there are so many commanders, there are so many people with guns, it's not safe for election. And then at the same time, the law, the constitution, which is supposed to guide this election, is still in the making. The judiciary, which is supposed to guide the election, is if there are disputes, there are problems, who is going to judge, who's going to put peace among the people. And then, of course, the citizenship, the education and training the people in what it takes to become, to make a credible election is also missing. So much is missing, but I think I don't want to rely so much on what is missing, but I rely on the will, the way I want my country to be, the love I have for my country. We could even let the other things know to be there, and we work and bring our country peaceful through a proper election, without any fight, without any struggle, without chasing anybody out, and we choose those we can choose, and then we begin preparing for better elections. That's what I would think.
Yes, you have seen the level of our citizen. Education is very low. And you have just mentioned that civic education need to be done. Do you believe if South Sudan conduct election, citizens will know their right to vote, since some of them may be for the first time?
I think they will have got they will understand. South Sudanese are very, although you call us a young country, we have a lot of experience. All they need is a peaceful atmosphere. If you when we voted for the referendum, that was the first of its kind. And all the people, I saw people in 90s going to cast a vote for the liberation of their country. They wanted to be free. Now, if these same people are told, you go and choose somebody you want, and you show them where the box is, they will put the paper in that box that represents that person they want. So the education and the voter education does not need English or Arabic. We speak the language the people know. In all our villages, tell them what they need to do. They will do it. All we need is a typical government organization, keep the country in order and peace, and then tell our people now you have got to vote for the leader of your village, for the leader of your county, your Payam, your Boma, whoever, choose, and then people will vote. And so this has to be a work upon all of us, including us in the church. We will be able to do it. This is a job we do it very well. We are very good at educating people to do the right thing.
And that's exactly the question I'm driving to about the level of preparedness of the church to ensure that they can engage the public on civic education.
Exactly. Now you have just got me at the end of today's workshop that we have been doing, being aided and supported by our friends from the Amasai region, experience from Kenya, from the neighboring countries, how they've been able to do elections. And so already these 2 days gives us a framework where the Bishops' Conference, the Catholic Bishops' Conference of South Sudan, together with the South Sudan Council of Churches, we have been here for the last 2 days, informing ourselves as to what to do. How do we prepare in case the election is going to be done in 2020, this year, 2024 December? What do we have got to do? So among the things that we have discussed here is how to prepare our people to know their rights, to know how to vote, and to know how what they should do during the elections, and also to inform those in the government their role, their responsibility to make sure that the people, the citizens, are able to vote, and then to prepare ourselves to help in case there will be dispute. We will be there to help to reconcile those who are in dispute. So the church is, we are already, I can say, we are well ahead preparing for whatever is going to come. So we are already set, and we are not going back. We continue to prepare until that day. The government will say, here is the time for election. We will be there to prepare our citizens to vote the government they want.
Well, and in case it happened that South Sudan transitional government extends their current period again, how will you feel as a church leader?
If the government extends the period, it is a pity anyway, and but it is also good news, although with mixed feelings, because there are needs that we need the government that can work. For the last 4 years, there have not been proper work in the country. All over the country, not so much services have been done. Extension of the period is also extension of the suffering of people, where they're missing services. On the other hand, and on another hand again, the extension is also good because it will give us ample time to prepare the people to do the election when the right time comes.
Let's start with the suffering of people. You said extension of government will be the extension of suffering of people. How?
The market is not friendly. People are going hungry. Life is very hard. People cannot meet the necessary needs, especially here in Juba and in many parts of the country. So if you are extending that period, there must be a provision that we are extending this period, at least the market will change tomorrow. People will have the basic to feed on, the necessary service they need for themselves. So when the government is extending, let them also be prepared that at least let our people have food and necessary support. So the suffering is obvious. People are going hungry. So that's why I'm saying extension of another more 2 years is an extension of suffering, unless there is a plan in place. The day they announce the extension, the next day we should have our stores in the market and pockets friendly so that we are able to have our people, the old people and children, to feed and to live well.
Well, and if it is extended, what is the good thing of it?
Yeah, if it is extended in a disregard of preparation for the election, it is good for us. And as I told you, we have not yet, we have not given up on preparation. Today, we are just ending one major workshop we have been doing to prepare for the election. If it is extended, we are not going to sleep. We will continue to work even much more now to be well prepared so that our citizens will be ready for that day that election is going to take place. So it will help us to enlighten very well our population as to how to vote. We give them the ABCD. You know, we voted many years ago. So people don't know, even young people like you do know what is voting. So we are going to take this time to begin to educate our people. And by the way, we are going to work very much together, ecumenical. We are going to set up a ecumenical commission for electoral commission, where all churches and all religious bases and based organizations, including even our brothers from Muslims and the civil societies, we want to come together to prepare ourselves and our people to, in order to perform the best election ever without worry that they may go into conflict. You should also be ready to stop anything that will mislead them. Anybody who's going to cause this, we shall ask them to really to step aside.
But what do we believe from a new government in case the election is conducted, a new government is coming? Why do we think that it could change the dynamic economic situation that affect our communities?
By the way, you are using the word new. So new means that these people, they will be telling us during the campaign what they are going to do. And actually, if anybody is going to campaign today, one of the things he must say is that I must make sure peace stays in South Sudan. I must make sure peace must stay. And this person must tell the people, everybody in South Sudan, that you vote for me, I'm going to make sure that you have food. You are going to have all the necessary services. Your children will go to school, health services will be there, and all the activities that can develop you will be there, equality and all the rest of them. So we will expect the new government to implement the manifesto, to implement what they will be telling us during the campaign. And we will be there to hold them accountable. You don't do what you have told us during elections, no, you can move. Ahead we get another person. So I think it is itself a check and balance. The election itself is not easy. You tell people what you are going to do when they vote you. You must stand up to that. The 100 days will be enough to know that this man was telling us the right thing or this woman was telling us the right thing. So people will be watching, will be waiting, and then making evaluation of those who will be in the public office.
Yeah, and to my last question, we have last year in February received Pope Francis in South Sudan. He has mentioned some of the strong words, and one of them is that I pray all will be one. Yeah. What is the follow-up that the church leaders in South Sudan are doing on the messages for peace Pope left in our country?
Yeah, I must say with confidence that the message of the Holy Father is resonating, is really working within ourselves. You know, though we have a sporadic violence here and there, by and large, our country is peaceful since the Holy Father left, despite the social part of it. But really serious violence where people are, being killed and all, it has reduced. And also, I'm seeing a lot of people having, touch to the churches. People are ready to forgive. I see people sharing the little they have. This is how message is. Message is like, you sow seeds. He sowed the seed 2 years ago, and it is germinating. And then the prayers we are holding in churches is a way of watering what the Holy Father, planted, and is going to grow. Our hope is that we, the people of South Sudan, we will have to hold to that message of love, of peace, of harmony, and unity, because he really called on us. He gave the example of the Nile. He said this Nile, as it goes, it divides in front, blue Nile, white Nile, but it's one water that is flowing. Let us be like that. And that's an invitation to all of us, by the way. This is a serious invitation from the Holy Father. Regionalism, tribalism, all this is really pulling our country behind. Everybody's talented. What God has created is good. Every human being in this country is very important. We are all special for this country. So only that we need to tap into those resources, put ourselves at the disposal of each other, love the country, and in the person, every citizen you find, this is a person who's meant to build this republic. For sure, differences will be there, even in the families. People who are born the same mother and father, they have conflicts. If there are conflicts within this country on the basis of some religious differences, that does not matter. But do not have institutional tribalism or regionalism. That one is bad. Don't employ anybody just because you come from here and that. That's not to work. So let us pull together. May we be one, the Republic of South Sudan.
Yes, and you're concerned about the localized conflict happening in the remote areas, and that's come out from the bishop's message. So how could this localized conflict be ended?
You know, there is no local conflict in our country which is not connected to the government.
Mm.
Yeah, all of them, all these communal violence, they are highly connected to the government. I tell you why. You need the rule of law in a country. For anything to do with the law, human rights, respect, a good governance, all this has to do with the authority, the leadership. The leadership in a given place in a country is the one that makes sure that nobody is there to humiliate another human being. Like a father in the house. If can you sit in your house and you see your children beating each other, one is really almost killing another, and you just sit down, these are children. No. You as a father will say, hey, stop it. Stop it. So the government is supposed to be the watchdog over every corner of South Sudan and put the rule of law. Anybody who's humiliating his fellow brother and sister, who's either killing or who's depriving, should go before the law. But because there's nobody there, when you do this, you go free. There's no prison. There's no one arresting. There's no law. So everybody takes in their hands freedom to commit violence, to commit atrocities, and no action is taken. This is why I'm saying no violence, no communal violence is not connected to the government. All of them are connected to the central system.